Well, welcome back everybody, and welcome to what will hopefully be the penultimate week of Big Red's big transformation. Now we need to get on with finishing this kitchen because we have a plumbing system, we have a cooking system, we have a power system, but we need some sexy storage. So let's get these doors and drills made.
But before we get on with that, I need to tell you about what time of year it is now, because what month are we in?
October.
October. And you know one of my biggest bugbears about October? Is this, look, leaves. These are the bane of my life, these are.
He's obsessed with bloody leaves.
And the farmer who lives next door to us, he's got some whopper trees. Let me show you them little beauties. But look at them. Look at all them leaves that are going to be coming down. Not happy?
You need to get a life, love. You really do.
Now, first thing you got to do before you make your drawers is work out what runners you're going to use, because you need to know what thickness they are before you make the size of the drawers. Now, I've tried the cheaper ones before where they just sort of like sit in like that. They're a bit of a pain to fit and they're a bit rattly, so I wouldn't really recommend these. But these are the old Screwfix Special, £7 a pop. They hold 45 kilos, ball bearing drawer runners. Can't beat them.
Now the way we like to do our drawers is we basically steal IKEA's idea and flat pack them. So we start with our bases and then we lay them all out with all the different sides on them and I number them up so we can't get mixed up. So we want 450 minus the thickness, which is 23. We want 2 at 427.
427, yeah.
You?
She's cranky.
I don't know what you could possibly be talking about.
Do you ever get it with your partner where they say, "It's not me, it's you"?
I think I need some chocolate.
Must be that time of the month.
I've run out of Toblerone. That one's gonna leave a mark.
Right,
I'm gonna murder you in your sleep.
So the way we make our drawers is we Craig screw them. Love a Craig screw, don't we?
Pocket hole screw for anyone who uses normal language.
Really, you want to go as thin as possible on the old drawers, don't you? But to go as thin as possible, you have to be quite a good...
We're not cabinet makers.
Yeah. So we go 12mm, but we're going to go 6mm on the bottom of these because they're small drawers. Hopefully she won't put too much weight in them anyway.
And also because we've got birch ply left over for the base, and that is like ninja strong. Like I can't bend it.
We've got the old cheap stuff for the sides anyway.
Yeah, using the leftovers up.
Come on!
I'm trying to... He's just taking it all away. I'm trying to mark it up. So all I get every single minute of every single ding dang day. Trying to do all the calculations.
Get on!
He's standing in here. Oh, hurry up. And then he comes in. I'm like, oh, I'm a bit nervous about this. I don't know if I've done it right.
On!
Because I never get to check anything.
Yes, so
correct.
2 in, 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2.
1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
We're going to go down.
Yeah, they all need to go down, don't they? Yeah, are we going down? Or are we going up?
Stop being so mature!
Well, we've got them all made up, and we've also made these two here, which are the L-shaped ones we were talking about, that are going to go in this bottom bit here to make use of that space. Now, I know it's a pretty narrow little gap down there. I can only sort of ram my hand down, but it's better than the space being wasted, and at least we can put socks and undies and bits like that down there. So let's hope I've got my measurements right and they all fit. Because you know, John will never let me hear the end of it if they don't.
They don't fit! Look at the gap!
Nah, it's perfect, look. Get the runners.
They better fit, Joy on. I'll have you know, this is all her measurements, so if they're wrong...
I was bossing him around a bit. Beautiful.
Right, yeah, that's one.
That's one.
Jobs are good. Go on, Joy on.
3 for 3. What do I get if they're all right?
What does she get, people? What does she get?
What do I earn myself if I've managed to do these all perfectly?
She gets a coupon
Oh, God.
for a night with Johnny.
Let's hope it doesn't for him.
Look at that. Let me go get your coupon.
Bugger. Beautiful, eh?
I'll tell you what, Jessica, I am impressed. Well done. Well done.
Yeah, smashed it. We haven't had one of those for a while. Now, we had hoped to get an L-shaped drawer in down the bottom here as well, but because I changed the plans with the old hob and I've gone for one that's sunk into the worktop rather than that sits on top, we won't have enough space in here to fit the drawer runners in. So that one's going to just have to have a door on it, same as these two cabinets here. And then these drawers, obviously, they are just the rough carcass. They're going to get a pretty door to go on the front too.
Now, I have had quite a few comments about the inverter being upside down, and unfortunately, we have to have it that way, so I might have to put another sticker on it to clear up.
Ease people's minds.
Yeah, my OCD a bit as well.
And speaking of upside down things, people have also noted that this socket is upside down. And no, it's not to make me feel at home because it's upside down. And it wasn't just a mistake. It's because the air fryer is going at the front here. And I'm going to use the other plug for my kettle, which obviously can't stay out. So it just makes it easier for me to plug it in and out rather than having to reach in, round, up and down and wiggle about.
And then also we had a lot of comments. It triggered a lot of people, this white plug socket. And to be honest, I'm glad when you get comments like this as well, because when I was installing it, I was thinking, oh, that would look nice black. But I didn't even think you could get black ones. But
I didn't know you could get
a lot of people said you could, and sure enough you can. So don't worry, there's a black socket going in as well.
Have you got it on order?
I have.
He's on it.
Now the next job we're on with is making the doors. Now we haven't actually shown you making these doors before, but we have had them in 2 previous builds. And the good thing about it is you get to use all your offcuts. So the first job is to rip down some strips. Look at this, people. The old general ready for 9 o'clock. Look, I'm impressed.
As if I'm ready by 8 o'clock every single day. I've just been doing work, look. I've even got my laptop here.
You're normally asleep still at this time. We lost you last night because 3 o'clock in the afternoon, she comes out, bottle of beer and 2 packets of crisps in hand. So that was down tools for the afternoon because she's such a lightweight, there's no way I could let her loose with tools and a bit of beer in her system.
It is fair play, actually.
Now, before Jess busted out the booze yesterday, we managed to get all the doors cut up and ready.
Yeah, and we're going for inset shaker style doors with a bit of a twist, which I'll show you later. And if you're a cabinet maker, I highly recommend looking away now.
Now, if you're like me and got a cabinet maker in the family, like my Uncle Botch, he's a cabinet maker. Shout out to Botch if you're watching.
Makes the most beautiful things.
And whenever he comes round to look at our camper, even though he's always so polite, so nice, he's like, oh, I'm looking brilliant. He must be thinking in the back of his head, what on earth are they doing there? And this is going to be one of them things.
This is going to be one of those moments.
But let me show you, this is what a proper cabinet maker makes. Like the old Botchy boy made that little beauty for my nephew. But how smart is that? So anyway, look away now, Botch.
Yeah, look away. So the way that we make our shaker style doors, because I know the correct way is to do it with a tenon and mortise joint, but we cheat because this way is simple and easy and quick. So all we do is just put 2 hocket hole screws there, and then we screw them together and then just fill the holes. And we usually put that on the back of our door, and that has always done us proud. So we're going to get these drilled up and then we'll show you our next cheat step. Now the hardest thing about making these doors is to make sure they're nice and square and that your joins are nice and flat. And that's where these beauty set of clamps come in. So all you do is you get your pieces square and clamp it up. Now these clamps won't stop it moving side to side because they need to allow the screws to pull it in nice and tight. But what they will stop is any ridges occurring where your joins are, because neither piece can move up and down as you screw it in. Now, if we were turning these into normal shaker doors, all we'd do is put a 3mm board on the back, glue it and tack it, job's a good one. But I wanted to break up the green in the kitchen, make these as lightweight as possible, and I wanted airflow into our electrics cabinet. So I'm going to do the backs of these with a bit of Hessian or Hessian, I don't know how you pronounce it, my friends always tease me. So we're going to get a bit of this effect, and to do that we need to router out a groove around the back for the Hessian to sit in. So you can see now it's got a nice little 10mm lip all the way around the inside, a bit like a picture frame. So then when I fit the hessian in, it will sit nice and flush. Now I'll show you how I fix and trim it once I come to do it, but obviously I need to paint this up first. But to get the lip, we've just used a router bit with a ball bearing on the bottom. So you just set your depth, run it around the inside, nice and easy.
So whilst Jess gets on with making them doors, I need to talk to you about the roof because we've got one last job to do on it. We've got to work out a way to latch it down. Now, I've been scratching my head thinking about a way how to do it because we've been giving it the big one that we want to always be able to do it from the inside, open it, close it, lock it. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. Because of the way the canvas sits and it rolls in, I just can't find out a way to do it. So we're going with the old faithful, we're going with these latches that are just going to go on there like that.
Routers are brilliant tools. However, dear God, they're messy.
I got nothing in my pocket. I'm a nobody, but you can't stop it. I got music, so I rock it. I got nothing but a something. Nothing in my pocket. I'm a nobody, but you can't stop it. I got music, so I rock it. I got nothing but a something.
Well, they're on and they don't look brilliant, but they'll have to do. Now, it's the same way as the alu cab was held down, so I know they'll be all right. And maybe when I do another one, maybe I'll get some like electronic magnets to hold it down or even some electronic motors to lift the roof up and down. But I'll show you inside the old roof as well, because we've done another mod as well. So where the canvas comes down, obviously, because we haven't got the board along the back here, it sags down ever so slightly. So what we've done is we just put a bungee that is taut at the back there when the roof is up, but then all I do when I get the roof down is pull the bungee taut onto a little hook that's on the bed there, so then it's nice and taut, keeps the canvas out the way, and it's nice and neat. And then we've got a couple of other mods done. So I've shown you this one before, but this is the thermometer we use for inside temperature, outside, and the humidity as well. Another Amazon special. And then at the top here we've got a smoke alarm and a CO2 alarm, a combined unit. And then in where the fridge is going to go, now we were saying that we want to make this cooktop so it's removable so we can use it outside and then plug it into this plug socket here. So what I've done is I've got this 16 amp waterproof plug socket that's nice and small unit that plugs in there, and then I can just make another lead up that goes from that socket there to the outside.
Now I've got all of the doors made up, and the way I've found to get the best fit and finish with them over the years, with a lot of trial and error I will add, is to make them the exact size of my hole. Because for inset doors to look nice, they only really want about a 1mm gap all the way around the outside. Now I'm not talented enough to build them with that kind of precision, and the cupboards are never square, are they? So you can see here, look, that this one fits pretty much perfect and it's nice and square. So I know when I go inside, all I need to do is cut a mil off the bottom and a mil off the top, and job's a good one. It also helps to hide these joins because it gets them perfectly flush as well. But you can see on this side here, we've got about a mil at the top, but nothing down at the bottom. So I've marked the bottom to know where I need to go, and then I can go in and cut it nice and straight. Now, if you've ever tried to plane plywood, you know it's really hard to get a good finish because of all the different layers. And if I was trying to take just like a mil off freehand with a circular saw, I'm just never going to do it. Jobs like this is where the old track saw really comes into its own, because it lets you get these finishes that I just don't think I could get in any other way. So I would say if you're doing a van build, I'd highly recommend getting one of these. Even if you sell it at the end, it'll be worth every penny.
Can we just take a minute here? Because I don't know if any of you watched the Sainsbury's van build, but let's take you back. And the easiest way to chop these panels is with a track saw. Now, Jess won't let me get a track saw.
I will not.
So we have to use just a cheap homemade one. But if you come back next week, I'll have a Festool track saw in there.
You will not have a Festool track saw.
We got a Festool track saw. Look at that little beauty. But I've got to be honest with you, I've actually been sponsored this. So let me introduce you to this week's sponsor.
So lay your head down. Lay your head down. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. I will love you over and over again.
This is Jess, the sponsor of the Festool track saw, and we have to give her 60 seconds of promotion. So I've got to say some nice stuff about her, so I'm going to have to think here. She's a good
You're
cook.
going to have to think. That's not a good start.
Well, she reckons that if I keep going, then she's going to leave me. So I best butt my ideas up. So if she ever does leave me, you've got to know she's a good catch. And she's a good cleaner. She's a good tool passerer. What else?
What else?
She's good in the sack.
Oh, my God.
Not that way. At school, she was good at sack race. That's what I meant. But I've got to be honest with you, and I've got to tell you some bad stuff as well.
No, you do not have to tell them bad stuff. You're promoting me.
She's got an arse like a trumpet.
Oh, my good God.
We got a festival track. We got a festival track. So it's gone from no, you can't have a track saw to promoting track saws. I think that's what you can call a success.
I am willing to admit that I could be wrong.
Say that again.
I am willing to admit that I can sometimes be wrong. Not as wrong as you usually are, but still.
That's a double success.
Well, come and have a look at my kitchen and see what you think. I absolutely love it. So we put a plinth in at the top here, obviously just to bridge the gap at the top of the fridge where the cooker comes down. And then this drawer here wasn't big enough for us to do it shaker style. I mean, they do them in normal kitchens. When you've got a drawer like that, they just do a flat face. So I'm hoping that one will look nice. But the next job we're on with is we need to put in our door latches and locks. And we've shown you before, we usually use those push button ones and they're brilliant, but there's a couple of faults with them. First is you have to remember to lock them, and I don't always. So we have had a few issues where you go around a corner, drawer flies out, everything goes everywhere, not good. Also, they have to have quite a thick bit of wood. So you either need to make your frames out of quite big wood or you need to mess around with spacers and stuff. But John found these little beauties, they're called Everlocks, on Instagram, and he messages the bloke, Alexander, total legend, and his uncle actually has a Pinzgauer. Check out this sexy beast. Now the reason we wanted these is twofold. First is these little rings that go on the front come in a range of different sizes and you can use them on different thicknesses of wood, including 12mm, so there's no messing about with the door fronts. But also, these little bits that go on the back are a stroke of genius. The way they work is you put your finger through the hole at the front and it compresses that little latch at the top there. Then you can pull your drawer out, but as soon as you let go, it pops back up. So then when you push your drawer shut, this slides past the latch, locks back in, and it's shut and locks all at the same time. So that should save a few hours on the road. Can't wait to test them out.
So I hope you've got your shot glasses ready, because it's time for a little 3D printing.
Oh my God.
And Jess has said I could talk about it a bit more because one of you lot messaged us the other day. A 67-year-old lady called Heidi, she went out and bought a 3D printer.
Come on, Heidi, you legend.
But I've had loads of messages asking what models I've got and how I'm getting on with them, so I'll quickly run through them. I've got the Bamboo X1, I've got the Bamboo A1, and I've also got the Bamboo X1 over here as well.
Is everyone else appreciating the new decorations to my house?
This is what you want in your house, don't you? But as you know, I've been non-stop 3D printing lately and I've printed all sorts of handy things. But I get quite a lot of messages asking what model I'd recommend. Now, it's so hard because it all comes down to budget because the X1's about £1,000, whereas this is only a couple £100. But what I would say is I've been doing pretty much everything on this that I have the X1. The only difference being is you can't print ABS on this because it can't get as hot. Whereas there is a filament called PETG, which is meant to be as good as ABS, which you can print on this machine. So value for money, I don't think you can beat this little beauty. But if you want to join my club like Heidi, then Bamboo got a massive sale on at the minute like most other companies for the old Black Friday sale. So if you do buy one, then I look forward to seeing what you've been making with it. Now I know you're all desperate to know what I've been on with making. So first one is that little beauty. Just a little lug that, you know, we were saying about this cooktop, I want to be able to remove it to use it outside. But obviously it needs to be secured in when we're driving along. So all I've done is you screw these into the unit and then what they do is they go over there and hold it in, but then you just twist it round and then obviously we can lift it out. So that's the first one. And the next one is for my dear Jessica.
Aww.
These little curtain brackets, because we're using copper pipe for the curtain rails. Now, Jess isn't keen, but I think it'll look good.
I love copper. I just don't know that it goes. I think it might be better powder-coated black. Tell us what you think, people.
I think it'll look good. But anyways, all the brackets I found for these don't cover the end of the pipe, and I wanted to cover it. So made these little beauties up, bored a little hole out, little wall plate, That slots on there nice and snug, look, doesn't fall off. That goes up there like a treat.
And then the other job my Johnny boy has been on with for me is making a base plate for the air fryer. Because as we all know, it's going to sit up here. But we couldn't very well just plonk it on the worktop and hope for the best, because going off-roading or round corners, that's never going to go well. So we've made up this base plate, which is exactly the same size as the base of the air fryer, and it's going to be painted black so you won't see it. But the way it works is these holes here have got matching holes in the worktop, which we can fill with doweling if we wanted to take it out. But it will then bolt through the worktop and be secure that way. Then these lugs here, actually just rivy nuts, but they're exactly the same size as holes that sit underneath the air fryer. So you can sit it down on top and that will stop any forward or backward movement. And then these bits here are going to have a strap over the top of the air fryer, which will keep it nice and secure for us. Pretty good, eh?
And if you notice, she looks a bit better, eh? Bit of black. But one thing we did get a bit of jip for though was the old tax disc holder. The people were on my side for that. They're saying that it has to be in the window. But one thing I would say is Jess's plan for it, which is a good idea. We laminate it, but I think if we put it in the window, it'd fade over time. So at least it's on the dash. One, it covers up my sins. But two, it shouldn't fade over the time as well.
Well, I've got my red room at the ready and we're all filled, sanded, prepped and ready to paint.
And we've got the doors drilled, ready for the catches too. But let me show you about these old catches. Now remember I was saying we like to use the old push button ones before, but the biggest problem with them is when you fit them, you have to be millimetre perfect because there's no adjustment on the back of the lock, and also the catch as well. There's no adjustment on that either. So when you fit it, if you don't get it bob on, the door won't open or close, and especially like after a while, once they've been fitted, they can end up, you push the button and it won't open and it jams, and yeah, it's just a pain. Whereas these new ones, look how much adjustment there is on that. So when it goes on the back of the door, there's plenty of up and down movement, but also on the catch itself, that's elongated. So you get loads of forward and backwards movement as well. So not only can you get them bob on when you're fitting them, but you've got adjustment for when they warp or move later on.
Well, you know what it's time for? The old trusty Juanita Wagner gun to the rescue. Let's do this. Well, me and my spray gun, we is proper pro now. Well, most of the time anyways. Well, it's been 2 days. She's had 2 coats and she don't look too bad.
Well, let's give my Jessica a pat on the back for that spray job.
Oh, thanks, boy.
Well done, well done. Another
Even
good,
Brian's come to say I've done well, look.
another good job, well done. But
Say hello to everybody.
we were hoping to get the Hessian in this week, but we're going to have to wait till next week for that one.
We
now.
are indeed. But we're not actually going to have a video next week because there's only a few jobs left to finish her off, as you can probably tell. So we're going to take next week off the video, get all the little nitty gritty bits and bobs done. I've got loads of sewing to do. So when we see you in 2 weeks' time, it'll be the final thing. You get to see what she looks like.
But before we leave you, thought we're going to have to show you this, haven't we?
I don't know.
This is from my darling Jess. It's her coupon, and the little, that's a QR code at the bottom there.
Is it?
So I'll show you how to scan that later. Now we've got to go because we've got some activities to be had.
Oh my God.
See you next week.
See you next week. I got a little bit distracted at the end there. So just to clarify, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time when we'll have Big Red completed and you'll get to see her in all her beauty.
Now, as Joey would say, that coupon expires, you know, Jess.